And the Ahri will be taken away from Knight. We now look at some of these priority picks. Will it be the AD carries? Will it be jungle? Maokai, of course, another jungle pick that has been very important in terms of when these two met and throughout the tournament. But Jinx is going to be locked in for Ruler.
It's interesting because all of the hyper carries also want the Lulu to be paired with them, and then it kind of forces the other team to go for like a blitzcrank, bottom lane support, kill lane into the Lulu. So that's why BLG, yes, they prioritize that Lulu over grabbing the other hyper carry first so that they know they're going to have that late game in the bag. This is something that they have evolved throughout this tournament to do.
JDG do have the Wukong available though. Typically it's paired very well with the Annie, but with the Rakan still up and available, I did wonder if they would consider the Blitzcrank, but missing and on, both are very proficient Rakan players. JDG will grab that for themselves. Now expectations are that they'll try and match with the jungle, but wow, okay, taking a different direction, hovering the Jayce right now.
Yeah, because whenever you see Maokai jungle, you think about the two mid lane AD champions, the Tristana, the Jayce, and so JDG going to presumably take this one away, maybe ban the other, as BLG should pick up AD carry.
Yeah, I really want to look towards that Zeri, most likely alongside the Lulu. Elk has already shown us, but of course the Aphelios does a very similar thing. Jinx has been winning out on the Jinx-Aphelios matchup though over the last few days. I think the record is 20 wins to Jinx and only 12 wins in favor of the Aphelios.
We'll see how things pan out today. Of course, both Ruler and Elk very proficient on both the Aphelios and Jinx sides. The Jayce early priority. I guess JDG expecting that the AD carry to come through means that they have a little bit of flexibility how they can even target ban even more. Remember that you can flex this Jayce to both top and mid.
Love that. When you have the Maokai, you're always worried about the ultimate getting stolen. They ban out the Sylas. See about JDG here as far as their focus. Is it going to be continued on Bin, or are they going to actually try and take away things from Yagao, like the Tristana, like some of maybe those utility supportive style mid lanes?
I wonder if Yagao will even consider the Talia if JDG want to try and remove it. Right now, top lane is being banned away. Okay, so this heavily suggests that this Jayce is heading towards the top side of the map. Wouldn't be surprised to see something like the Jax taken away as well.
So what about Sion here then? Because 369 is the top laner that made Bin question his whole approach to the game and start spamming tanks. So if all of these bans are going towards Bin from JDG, are they worried about 369, you know, picking up that sign with all the protection here?
Did it the last time they played here at MSI. It didn't work out too well for BLG. They did manage to do that initial invade, but weren't able to get enough of a lead for that to snowball for them. Sejuani now banned by BLG. And we'll see if JDG decide, as you said, Vedi, maybe a supportive pick in the mid lane like the Nautilus. Instead, that's worked its way all the way through into our second round of picks.
Okay, so what will BLG choose to do? The safe approach here is to just lock in the Sion. With it up and available, you know that it will be a fine matchup into the Jayce, so of course you will get bullied, but you can create that split map, already put pressure on the bot side of the map very early. It's something that we've seen Bin play to great success multiple times, but you have to question, is this something that JDG want to come through? And wow, so Yagao going to be picking Syndra into the Syndra god himself now.
Yeah, steals it away from Knight. Knight, the undefeated this year, Syndra player, 9-0. They yoink it away, and that means we're going to have to see 369 tank first.
Gragas have it, of course. All right, locked in. Still a lot of flexibility on the side of JDG. Don't really know where everything is going, but if they lock this in, we'll get a pretty good idea. The damage on the side of JDG a little low, but I think that when you have the Jayce and the Jinx, it should be fine overall. Expectations are that you would end up putting this Gragas in the jungle, and then you would end up putting this Nautilus mid.
And a lot of the power of a composition like this from JDG comes from killing the first target. You get people poked down, Gragas goes in, or you get a good hook, and the Jinx starts to get excited, and that's when you can really run away with the game. When your AD carry is set up for success, it tends to win you games. Looks like, though, BLG with the Kennen going all the way through the draft might just be drafting an incredibly strong team fight composition for themselves.
The last time they met, Kennen was permabanned, always removed, but we also know that Bin is an incredibly confident Jax player. This is the champion that, well, everyone really knows him for, and he's going to be locking it in. So comfort for BLG in the top lane. I wonder how, of course, we'll wait to see exactly where everything goes from JDG. Expectations are that this Gragas will be going into the jungle, the Jayce will be going top, and then the Nautilus mid. But are JDG going to surprise us? Are they going to do something completely different? Again, we'll wait for the timer to run out before we confirm, but for BLG, kind of stock stand of what we've been seeing at this tournament. A lot of great peel from both the Syndra and the Lulu. The engage is very strong with the Maokai. And of course, Bin's Jax will always find ways into the fight.
Exactly. They stay true to themselves here, at least in game number 1 of a best-of-5 series.
Gents, they didn't swap.
I like this.
That is a Nautilus jungle.
Nautilus.
For Kanavi.
One of the reasons that people don't like jungling the Nautilus is because the move speed is one of the lowest base move speeds in the entire game. But the way in pro play, where it's all about jungle, playing 4 lanes, and kind of being a follower to the rest of them, he's just looking to peel for Ruler and Knight.
Obviously, you can use your dredge line to get onto terrain. It refunds some of the cooldown on it and gives you some of the mana back, but what a surprise. In game 1, we thought the Naut was a two-way flex between support and mid lane. Instead, JDG show us that they can play it wherever they damn well please.
Continuing the rivalry here, JDG versus BLG all year long. And now the battle between Knight and Yagao again. They made their way all the way here to London. 5,664 miles from their home city, where they grew up together, playing in the same PC cafe. They will now fight for an international title.
And it was Yagao who used to win those battles when they were playing in that PC cafe. He was the king of Ping Shong. And we'll see if perhaps the Knight can dethrone him here in London. Not too much happening in the early game. We see both teams setting up a bit of a line of scrimmage. A ward from BLG over towards this blue buff. We'll see where Kanavi decides to start. And I think BLG will probably be as surprised as the rest of us with the fact that this Nautilus is being piloted in the jungle.
Curious as to where he starts, and BLG very interested in knowing that information. Wards dropped on both red and blue. We'll see what direction he chooses to go. Looks like that he's likely to start on the Raptors. Gragas going to make his way up. Or 369 rather, through the blue to see if anything sneaky is going on. Bin should get a good trade. Nice bot back from 369.
Taking advantage of the AoE here on Nautilus. Love it from Kanavi already. Of course, starting the E on Raptors. You know everybody's going to want to try and copy this. I apologize for solo queue immediately after. As soon as you see something like this,
I mean, the one benefit is solo queue is on 13.10, right? So you can't really bring out these strategies as easily.
I mean, Kobe, you've been casting for, well, forever. Do you remember when Nautilus Jungle used to be the meta? It's very old school. It's been a while since we saw it, but... I
mean, Kobe was probably there the last time it was played, actually, because it was 2015 by Xsmithy in the NALCS, the last time we saw it in a Tier 1 region.
Yeah, Jake performing quite well with it. Meanwhile, Kanavi here, he is just going for the red side clear down towards bottom. After Krugs, kind of leaning, he's leaning towards bottom side here. So presumably you're going to play off of your bottom lane. Missing and Ruler do have the advantage as far as minions.
They have the, as you rightly said, Kobe, push, which means that Kanavi, I mean, Elk and On should be suspicious of this Nautilus being on the bot side of the map. He's looking for it.
On flashes away. Void's missing. Missing takes a chunk in return. Look at Libram, long-range headshot there. Takes the Rakan down to 100 HP, but he'll be able to recall, and with the wave pushing in, they shouldn't lose too much in that bottom lane.
Kanavi here on the Nautilus is super supportive as well, by the way. He's gone Font of Life in his runes to try and get that extra little bit of healing.
Ruler's in trouble.
Missing has left. BLG stepping forward, the heal, the flash. Twisted advance in from Shun, the knock back with Bramble Smash. Ruler will escape under his tower.
Yeah, really good cleanse there from Ruler. You have to get to the other side of that Bramble Smash, or else it's going to push you towards Elf, towards On, and you go down. So Ruler spends both of his summoner spells. Well done, but also now he's going to be a huge target. And BLG, Elk hits the snipe there. They have done such a good job of targeting bottom lane in all of their previous series, bringing down Shun, going for tower dives on bottom lane, ganking over and over.
Guess who's back?
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason not to. The wave state is in a fantastic spot for BLG. Shun is just hovering around. Ruler feels very uncomfortable right now, and he knows that his jungler's on the top side of the map. There's no way that Kanavi can really support, so Shun's happy to spend all the time in the world.
Forward from Elk. The heal coming out from Ruler puts the flame chompers down as well. They'll land the knockup. They'll land the zap, and even though the root goes down onto Missing, he should be able to walk away.
Bit of an ambitious play from Elk, but still able to force them back, and now he should be able to push the wave underneath the tower.
I see what he's trying to do there. He wanted to use up the rest of his bullets to get his purple gun out, but he couldn't use them all up in time, so the purple gun came a little late.
Kanavi sees a window to steal away enemy Raptors because of the amount of time that Shun has been hovering around bot. Those top camps from Kanavi haven't been cleared. Same for the bot camps from Shun, but Kanavi with a small advantage being able to find that steal. The bot lane, though, from JDG struggling in this early game. And it all comes off the back of JDG trying to find that early pick. Kanavi doing a full bot side clear into that early gank meant that Shun, already pathing bot, had a very clear window where he could actually find that punish. And the fact that they knew Missing, given his low health, was forced to go back to base, they saw that Ruler was alone, and they did a great job of looking for those plays. So BLG have really set up their bot lane for success. Ruler has now been able to find a base, but that deficit is something they'll have to find a way back from.
Yeah. The net gain is only about a minion wave, right? In terms of summoners, BLG have burnt all of theirs in the bot lane. Missing still has his flash, but you can see a slight gold lead, about 100 in advantage for Elf.
And you always have to point out, yes, it's one minion wave, but a minion wave on the bottom side of the map can balloon into an entire game now.
Especially when you have a low mobility AD carry like the Jinx. Before she gets Gale Force, no real escape tools. Be very tricky to navigate the early game. Bing going in as the top laners butt heads, but not really too much expected to happen here as 369 trades back in, but Shun is looking for the gank. 369 has the flash, uses it to escape, and will survive the gank.
All right, summoner spells on top side. Contrary to popular belief, they actually do matter. Okay. Especially, you know, we're almost at 6 minutes here, so you start thinking about Rift Herald since your flashes that are blown now will not be back for that 8-minute timer. Kanavi, though.
With the gank down towards the bottom lane, knock up onto Elk, but he's behind the tower. The Flame Chomper's coming out, Missing almost dies to the turret shots. Ruler takes 2. He will not fall, but Missing will. Another hook coming in from Kanavi. He's going to tank another tower shot as On begins to chase him down. I don't think he can really go too much further.
Missing went back in there, and he did not respect the power of the Lulu going down, giving the trade kill there. Could have been a little bit smoother for JDG.
Still, a well-executed play from JDG. Kanavi's back will be interrupted. Oh, not quite able to interrupt that of Ruler's. But in an ideal world, you'd love for Ruler to get that kill. Knight has found Shun, but I don't think he wants to go for this trade, knowing that Yagao is right there.
But because BLG know the enemy jungler has been forced away, they can play towards this dragon. You can see Missing and Knight trying to stop it from happening. Knight down to about 30% mana, but with Yagao here, with Shun here, with On here, it should be an easy enough secure for BLG.
Yeah, and we're seeing the reason why in Champions League we're kind of talking about looking for, Missing's going to pop in just for a little look. In Champions League we're talking about why you usually want to focus towards attack damage mid laners to be paired with that Maokai. We've had a easy rush on Merc Beds for Knight, and that combined with the phase rush, he's so slippery, they're not able to lock him down. Still though, BLG, they stay true to their game plan. Go bottom, get the early dragon stacking for you.
I mean, just great adaptation from JDG after their bot lane was put in a bit of an awkward spot earlier. They didn't even have a massively stacked wave, but they're still able to find that dive just because of information they had. Remember that Shun, because he spent so much time on the bot side of the map earlier, he needed to go and clear his top side camps, and this meant that the two junglers were always mismatched from one another. So there was a very big window for JDG to find a clean dive, largely uncontested. Both junglers right now, just really great awareness on the map of finding their windows. And again, you can see if you look at the base, or the minimap rather, Maokai nowhere really there to offer support. The initial knock-up from Missing means that he can tank the tower, then the follow-up from Kanavi means that Ruler actually takes the aggro, which is better setup. Of course, the airy, thank you observers for highlighting that, ends up getting the execution down onto Missing, which means that it ends up being a 1-for-1 overall.
All right, the repeat visit. Kanavi setting up super deep vision for repeat plays towards bottom side.
I think they read it though. You can already see on the map, Shun immediately pathing towards bot, but the pressure from Knight in mid is making it harder for Yagao to really offer any assistance. He doesn't have his TP available, but Shun wants to be in a position to stop this dive.
Now Shun spotted on a ward. We'll see it with the sweeper as well. Knight and Kanavi decide they don't want any more of that action as they back away. Kanavi can step back forward. Not the best guns if you want to try and tower dive an Aphelios. The Severum Crescendum, probably the most powerful combination in short range that the Aphelios can muster.
But JDG do get themselves a plate, so overall still a win. And the pressure continues. Just once again, great awareness from Shun, knows where he needs to be on the map. Kanavi, though, getting a bit creative here. Will he find a mid-dive?
Good look for it. Yagao does have that scatter the weak. Kanavi's going to try and walk up, get the auto down. Knight now on the chase. Kanavi tanking the tower. Scatter the weak has been used, but it won't be enough as JDG secure a kill and a plate in the mid lane.
Jungle Nautilus coming to a solo queue game near you. Courtesy of Kanavi. The auto attack still goes off because unless you flash out of vision into the pocket of Fog of War, still going to complete it. We do have 369 getting the ultimate, but it just knocks him directly in place against that wall, so Bin shrugs it off.
Props to JDG, they're finding a lot of great plays on the map. They found the dive in bot, they find another dive in mid, and Yagao, very little that he could do there. He flashed away for most of the CC, but still enough damage. Now BLG on the attack themselves.
369, no flash,
Nice.
gets the knockback flash forward by Bin, popping the ultimate as well as they look for the damage down on this Gragas, but he's a tanky boy and he's difficult to kill. One more order will be enough, and Bin secures it.
Oh, he had a couple seconds left on his flash there. 369, so close for him. They squeeze out that timing window, but it's a big kill.
Knight flashing forward as well, and Bin can do nothing but be put in the trash. Meanwhile, around the Rift Herald, missing going low, he tries to flash away. The Moonlight Vigil did connect, and missing will be put in the dirt, and now BLG are looking for more of a fight, they're looking for more of a fray. But JDG will just back away.
BLG have the numbers advantage in the river for now, but no, 369 has TP'd into mid lane. JDG don't want to give this up.
Shin's gonna get forced away here. Doesn't have that ultimate right now. BLG trying to gain that mid lane prio, but Ruler and 369 will be able to answer El. Yagao perhaps looking for a scatter of the week, just short on Ruler. As in the end, after a brief skirmish, we see both the teams just reset to mid.
Rift Herald is worth so much now. We've seen so many games won and lost around this objective, and they're not willing to give up on it.
The last time these teams met, they fought over every single neutral, and it looks like things will not change. They're waiting for Kanavi to join the fray. JDG, though, they're not in a great position right now. They will force their way into the river.
BLG don't have that many ultimates either. Shun looking forward as he pops his own, but Elk caught off towards the bottom side. 369 flashing onto the back line as well, and now Bin has to deal with 3 members of JDG as they start to collapse. Elk looking for the damage on 369, but already 1 member of BLG is put in his grave. Follow it with 2 more as JDG win the fight.
How good is Ruler? He baits him. He walks up. He knows he has cleanse plus flash, double summoner spells Jinx. He gets Shun to W in on him, and he takes him into the rest of the team. Even with the Maokai ultimates, they draw him in. The rest of JDG pounce, and they destroy BLG at that Rift Herald. These rewards are so big. Mid and top turret plates and the Rift Herald Vedius. What more could you ask for?
I mean, JDG have ballooned this gold lead, and they're in such a commanding spot. You can see the gold at the bottom, 1.8k lead for Knight. He's sitting at a 4-0-1 scoreline, and the domestic Knight showing up internationally at long last.
Oh my goodness, that's an eclipse already. That is quite early.
Knight is a monster right now. JDG, they executed the fight to perfection. The claim was made, are they the best team fighting team in the world? Well, we're going to see back in this fight why they're given that moniker.
Yeah, just look at this. Okay, so Knight goes for some poke, and then Ruler walks up just a couple steps in front of him because he knows he's got the safety there. And Shun goes for the combo on him with the ultimate going down. Once Bin gets locked in on the front side, 369 you can see on the top side too. Ultimate onto Elk.
I mean,
splitting up the team. JDG dissecting BLG on 2 fronts.
We've seen so many great 369 flanks specifically on this Gragas, and that was another spectacular one. Separating Elk from the fight. That choke point in an ideal world for an Aphelios. Oh, maybe you can get that massive Moonlight Vigil. But because he was so distracted, he couldn't really contribute to the fight. And one at a time, JDG could mow down the BLG members. A healthy gold lead now, early game in their control.
And tracking this jungle Nautilus, it is going super supportive to the surprise of nobody. It's full support with the extra damage amp just for Ruler and Knight here. Let's see what he can do on the bottom side. The ult is ready for Kanavi. The flash is ready. So much CC available.
Kanavi, flash hook on, has to burn a summoner of his own to make sure that he escapes. But yeah, this Nautilus Emax does so much damage just by himself, especially if you can get all 3 procs of that Riptide to hit. And now with On having burnt his flash, JDG know where their bread is buttered. It's can we put more gold onto Ruler? Can we get this Jinx into a position where later on he'll carry? They'll give him a couple of plates. Shun trying to re-engage as BLG are looking for a fight. They get the knockback on there as well as Elk continues to put the damage down, but the Moonlight Vigil comes out and Elk finds one. If Burnham doing a lot of work in this fight. Shun low, Ruler trying to get excited. You just can't hide it right now as JDG try to re-engage, but they can't find purchase.
So Knight has been consistently getting push in mid, and as they were threatening this bot tower, he started moving into the river, recognized Yagao wasn't on the mid wave, and said, hey, if Yagao goes bot, I can actually get more plates in mid. But because BLG recognized that Knight showed mid, they knew that they had a numbers advantage and could force the fight bot. So you look on the minimap, Knight is slowly moving back towards mid, and once the Herald drops, BLG sees a window with the arrival of Yagao that they can start a fight.
And that window, BLG know, because Ruler used both summoner spells in that Rift Herald fight, he's got nothing left. So the other two members of JDG have to block that Maokai ultimate for him, and BLG can just go through the front line. That being said, Ruler almost took down Shun, a lot of damage there. Rest of BLG blocked the shock blast there from Knight, so no return kill, but nice little answer from BLG.
You can see this damage on the mid tier 1 though. Knight consistently forcing Yagao underneath the tower. Has a whole level advantage, is a near 2k gold lead.
You gonna pick my Syndra against me? Most iconic champ.
I mean, we talk so much about how the Nautilus can be flexed between mid and support, and now Kanavi's added the extra dimension of what about jungle? What are you gonna do? And it's definitely, I think, caught BLG off guard, especially with how present Kanavi has been on the map. Dive bot, dive mid, in the team fights as well. He's been such a strong front line. Still going for that supportive itemization as well to give his team more damage.
I love it because throughout this tournament, people have had these preconceived notions about the meta, and they believe it is so rigid. But this game, look at it. We've diverted from the supportive mid laners back to carry mid laners, and so super supportive junglers here, going to the extremes for Kanavi. Meanwhile, Shun, of course, on the Maokai, going with the first strike, get rich as quick as possible so you can, futures market in your early demonic, and he does have that. But it might be a little bit too late here because while BLG have the two dragons going for them, the third will be very difficult to get given the gold lead for JDG.
JDG 4,000 gold ahead right now. They are very much in the driver's seat of this game. You can see the Gale Force already complete for Rulo, and they're starting to try and spread that gold out a little bit. Really no lane for BLG has been able to find an avenue to get ahead in this game. Perhaps only Elk is even with his lane opponent.
JDG smart with how they're playing the map right now. They've sent 369 to the weak side, which is bot lane, and they've allowed Knight, where the big power is sitting, to chip away at this top tower that they want to secure for themselves. They've made it very safe for him as well. You look at the minimap once more, and you can see all of this vision highlighted. Kanavi very deep into the enemy jungle. They may even look for a pick onto Bin. Perhaps it's a little too ambitious, and they would be overstepping their bounds, but this does give the safety for Knight to push in this wave. And now JDG can set the rights on this mid-tier 1.
Yeah, honestly, you feel like a god. When you have Eclipse speed, plus you have phase rush for you, plus you have flash, and you're the richest person in the game, Knight right now is actually just running Summoner's Rift, and he's coming down towards mid lane. So you know this tower is going to fall. It's so low.
Oh, and obviously knowing the Rangers very well, played against a bunch of Nautilus in his time as BLG look for an engage. They'll catch Kanavi, the depth charge comes down, and that will knock up Elk for a second. Ruler is nowhere near this fight as of yet, had to position over the wall to make sure he couldn't get caught out. And in the end, as Elk dashes forward with the Gale Force, both teams will just disengage.
Yeah, Kanavi there makes a heads-up play. You know, he blocks the Maokai ultimate, turns around, gets his ultimate onto Elk, makes sure he's not going to go down. Make sure Knight doesn't have anything getting even close to him.
So JDG have a pretty, well, I say pretty good position with the Dragons spawning about 10 seconds. BLG, after using the TP from Yagao, they do have that TP advantage with Knight's TP coming up relatively soon, but they want to be in position to contest this Drake. Ruler continues to push in mid, he needs to be careful.
Heal comes out from Elko. Ruler going forward with the Gale Force. The Megadeth Rocket doesn't quite live up to its name, but we start to see perhaps signs of how that matchup's gonna go.
Yep, forces the flash out of the Aphelios. He's so much more vulnerable now. BLG, they've got no real tank. Because Maokai, like we said, is going for the poke Maokai build, they don't have a front line for BLG. So Knight poke really, really stings, and it does not get healed back up here. So him being the only person with 2 items, they bully on through. Ruler gonna shove them off that turret. They get the turret, they get the dragon. They do get a consolation prize on the other side of the map, as observers highlighted there in the split screen. BLG at least picking up the Rift Herald while they know JDG will be busy on dragon.
But now, JDG's presence on the map, look at how powerful they are on these side lanes once again. Knight can push all the way up into the tier 2. I expect them to continue this level of pressure. Push in mid, then play through bot. You leave 369 to catch waves, and if you want to really commit to that tower, you can actually bring him from top into mid, then commit your 4 members down to that bot tier 2. But they're going to start maintaining this level of pressure, waiting for next dragons, and maybe even the Baron but I think they're mainly going to wait for a pick before they can really commit to that objective.
For BLG, it becomes trickier and trickier to find plays, because if you look at it, they have one form of engage. They have the Maokai, and if you have Kanavi standing in your face, and even if you get past Kanavi, you've got 369 with an explosive cask, and even if you get past 369, you have Missing sitting there being like, okay, I'll just charm you guys now. It's so difficult to ever get onto Knight and Ruler, who have such a large range advantage, especially when you have the lethal tempo stacked up on Ruler.
And then if they say, all right, fine, we don't want a team fight, we look at the side lanes. Oh, wait. Knight, if you even compare Knight versus Bin, he is massively ahead, almost 3K here. 300 more gold to go, and that is going to be untenable in the side lanes.
JDG in a fantastic position right now. We kind of take a look at this map once again. They've sent Knight down to the bot lane. He does have TP. Yagao's TP actually coming in relatively soon. The ultimate from Kanavi, I think, used just as a zoning tool to give JDG the presence to push in mid. They're slowly moving their vision deeper. The game has slowed down a little bit. And will JDG want to keep pressing this advantage. And BLG, the more time that they're given, at least they're given more opportunities to scale. Ideally, they'd love for Elk to be able to get that Infinity Edge before forcing a fight, because once they get that second item, they'll hit a really strong spike. Maybe that's a window where they can win out.
And there's a small bit of power in the Aphelios' kit. You don't really need to build too much attack speed, because obviously you get it from your passive. So getting the IE gives you a little bit more of a spike than perhaps if Ruler goes towards a Zeal item second, although it looks like Ruler might just be sitting on the Zeal for now as the trade happens in the top lane, 369. Sandwich between Shun and Bin, but can just dash across the wall.
Yeah, I love the stories that have emerged around the Zeal second, starting from Ruler, where Berserker was tweeting out that he DM'd Guma Yushi, and he was like, why do you build Zeal second? And Gumi was just like, I don't know, Ruler does it, so, you know, he's the GOAT. Follow Ruler. He's definitely going to sit on that, build his Infinity Edge, and we shall see some crits flying through.
I think that's a good enough reason to do things most of the time.
I
Like,
mean,
if Chovy does it, I'm probably going to do it.
Well, the actual reason why Ruler does it is because Zeal is such an efficient component item. It had to get nerfed in 3 different ways for live. If you're playing on live right now, it got its cost nerfed, it got both stats on it nerfed, the move speed and the attack speed. So he's trying to take advantage while he still can on the MSI meta here on 13-8.
So you'll notice once again, we talked about how JDG wanted to keep the pace of the game going, but they haven't really been able to push towards these tier 2s. I think that they were strong enough to do so. When you have like a near 5-6K gold lead, you really can start to threaten, but for now they've just taken their time. They want to hit spikes of their own. Big purchase just completed once again for Knight. Getting very, very close to his 3rd item as his tier continues to stack. And I guess they're waiting for the next dragon. Spawning in about a minute and a half. A lot of their vision right now is invested towards the top side river. They'll likely translate this down towards the bot side. They're actually sending Knight up towards top. I guess they want to keep him pressuring Yagao as the Herald now drops for BLG.
Shirelio's been used by Missing here. They want to try and close the gap onto Bin because they know he'll try and push him with this Rift Herald, and they have read him like a book. Kanavi's going to dive in here. Bin trying to do what he can, but in the midst of 3, there is nothing left but back to the fountain. The sweet release of Grayscale for Bin.
JDG in full control of the map. The Rift Herald does end up getting the tower, but it kind of sucks when no one's around to get local gold, especially on the outer ones. And Bin going down there, an easy pick for JDG. Still has 25 more seconds here for JDG to be able to rotate on up and control the rest of the map. So much so is the lead that the objective bounties are already here. JDG only have 3 currently. They do have their teleports ready for their side laners though, so BLG better be careful who they're messing with.
I feel like JDG can use this window to actually start off the dragon, but right now they're posturing around the Baron. They're saying, oh, maybe you go and contest us for that Drake. Hey, look, you can fee at Soul Point. Meanwhile, we'll sneak away this Baron. As they continue to clear out vision. JDG just taking their time, don't want to rush anything. They know the lead that they have. They know that they don't need to overforce. They've pushed in bot wave. They want Ruler to go back to base, spend some of that gold, and then come back out on the map stronger, and then look to contest his objectives. There's that Infinity Edge for Ruler, likely what they were waiting for.
Could be waiting on a Knight finishing up his next item as well. He is only the recipe cost short of finalizing his 3rd item.
We've all been there in the game in the domino effect where one person recalls, oh, I got to finish. Oh, I only need 300 gold for mine. I only have 100 gold for mine. And you get the chain reaction, but he's also about to transform his Muramana here. So not only can you get more lethality, you also get your transform of your Muramana, and holy moly, that poke from Knight is going to leave a mark. And as you already stated, having the Infinity Edge come in just means Ruler's job of cleaning up will be simplistic. Dragon taken away.
With the dive here, perhaps Knight is going to have to invest the flash to make sure he wasn't knocked against the wall with that Scout of the Week. Bin trading in the bottom lane, but it's been quite a quiet game for Bin, more on the receiving end of punishment than dishing it out as JDG now start to push in mid, on hooked, the TP immediately, the Flame Chomper's down, and that Lulu is not long for the world. JDG will secure it, and they'll look to continue pushing mid.
Just like that, JDG find themselves a pick and they're storming down the mid lane. The TP has come through from Knight and they're looking to secure an inhibitor.
Reminiscent of how T1 were able to take some wins against JDG earlier in the week. A single kill, a single team fight can absolutely open up your base, and that's exactly what JDG have done now. Now with Super Minions pushing in mid, securing the rest of the objectives on the map becomes a lot simpler.
And you can just see how comfortable JDG are, how calm they are with this lead. They know BLG like the back of their hands. Knight though, no flash,
no
okay?
Flash, the TP coming in, gonna be another second channel time. Gets knocked back, no stun, connects. Jun still looking for the chase, flash forward, twisted advance, and now Knight is surrounded by BLG, the explosive cast, and Knight will not be found healed in the final moments to keep him alive through the unleashed power, and now Elk is just standing with a massive Gragas in his face, and JDG punish the over-eagerness of BLG.
It's a massacre as JDG will chase down on. None will be left alive as JDG will tear BLG apart. Knight will not fall. He will remain deathless in this game, and they're just looking to end it.
Oh my, I was afraid of this, fellas. In every best of 5 this year, JDG have faced BLG. They've improved. 3-2, 3-1, 3-0, and now starting out with another one.
In the battle to be the king of Pingsheng, it is Knight who strikes first.
5-0-4 on the Jayce. An immaculate performance from JDG from start to finish. And we didn't really talk about it much, but Bin has felt so confident on his Jax in so much of this tournament. And this is the first time where I really felt like we saw what the Gragas can do in this matchup. 369, just from start to finish, really had Bin's number.
And it's what we saw in the LPL finals as well. The reason Bin went home and started practicing tanks was because when he played carries into 369, he did not succeed. And I think we just see here how well coordinated 369 is with his team, but how well coordinated JDG is as a 5-man roster.
It's insane. Been able to conquer so many opponents, but not 369. You know, the one to block you, the one to make you question everything about your approach to the game.
Now, of course, Bin did predict a 3-2 in this final, so dropping a game is
all right,
nothing
all according
unexpected
to
for
plan.
him. Yeah, he's fine. He's just downloading the data, and of course, BLG. In terms of the start, they weren't expecting probably this Nautilus to go into the jungle. Bit of a curveball, and I think the Kanavi had a lot of presence in the early game, finding a lot of successful dives. And I will say that where we've seen BLG be super successful is actually their presence bot. And their first few levels, 1 to 4, where they were getting those advantages, getting those summoners out of Ruler, is where we see them kind of play to their comfort, play to their success, but we couldn't really see them capitalize on it moving forward.
It's been said so many times, but JDG are so good at playing defense for their carries. And they've got some of the best carries in the world in Knight and Ruler, so it's a hard thing to siege.
And for BLG, they have to find a way to crack through that defense. They have to find a way to get onto that backline. We'll see if they can do it, and we'll see what our analysts